dust is settled. Package is open. All comes to a collaboration of Shipping Wars finale. That's right, we're going over what we ended up having the results from Shipping Wars. We ended up seeing how the chips ended up falling. We ended up opening up the packages all of last month. And now we're going to see what happens, who ranks up there, and how it ended up going. So, with that, we ended up having a bunch of stuff that we ended up opening up, from Berserk all the way over to Ultimate X-Men. We went full gambit. Big thing that we ended up doing is we ended up ordering stuff from different companies that are hardcover. That was the common thing that came over with it. We ranked them on a 5-point system, where it was how well it was packed, the shipping cost, shipping speed, how easy it is to order, and most importantly, the value that you can end up getting from ordering them. We had 7 different companies that we ended up making orders with to make this happen. We have Cheap Graphic Novels, Target, Book Outlet, Amazon, In Stock Trades, Hamilton Books, and OPB, or Organic Price Books. So, how do they rank with one another? Where should you end up spending your money at? I know it's around tax time, so that's why we ended up doing this right around this time of the year. So without further ado, let's break down the rankings that we have for this year's Shipping Wars. Precursor, we have a bunch of ties because a bunch of companies ended up having the exact same tie. So coming in at number 4 with a score of a 3.5 out of 5. They ended up getting a half a point, which was CGN, or Cheap Graphic Novels. The big thing that was a problem with CGN was having to pay $10 for shipping. No matter how much you end up making an order, you end up having to pay for shipping. And I feel like, especially nowadays, you should have a minimum that comes over with it, because that would bump up the people wanting to pick up the add stuff into the carts just to be able to get that free shipping. And it had a pretty good speed that came over with it. With that, we ended up getting the second volume of Berserk, was their representation. And now we come over and we start with the ties with a score of 4 out of 5. With a score of a 4 out of 5, we have a 3-way tie that comes along with it. So we'll start off and go alphabetical order with it, where we have Amazon that got a 4 out of 5. With Amazon, we ended up picking up Descender Volume 2. It took 1 day for it to come over with it. I mean, holy smokes. I think this was one of the fastest turns over that we ended up having. The big problem that they ended up losing points for was how well it was packed, because it wasn't packed very well at all. I think they had like a piece of paper or something like that that ended up packing it. So if they want to be increasing their score, they can end up packing their stuff a little bit better, and then it would probably got a 5 out of 5. It was pretty stellar of a way, especially speed. You do get free shipping with a membership, and most likely you end up having a membership that's with them. So they ended up getting the points for that. Now we come over to Book Outlet. Book Outlet had the ultimate. Book Outlet had the Ultimates, I believe. Yeah, Book Outlet had the Ultimates omnibus that we ended up picking up. They lost a point because there was a little bit damage that was done to the book. Well, a little bit damage that was going over with it, and it ended up liking how that ended up finishing off. However, they did have some pretty unique way that they ended up packing the box. Orders that had $35 or more ended up getting free shipping. So that was a nice little ways, but I think it ultimately was the way that it was packed. Target, a newcomer that was coming over here. We got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 13 and Volume 14 from there. It had a 3-day turnaround. It had 3 days that it ended up coming over with here, which was shocking. And then orders of $35 ended up getting free shipping. I believe it was also with the way that it was packed that was going over with it, because it seems like they hit every other low mark that we ended up having. And now we come over to second place with a score of a 4.5 out of 5. So they were close but not there yet. First one we have is Hamilton Books. And with Hamilton Books, we ended up picking Ultimate X-Men Volume 1, Omnibus. Shipping cost us $4, and I think that's where they ended up losing the half a point with it. Because, yes, it's decently that comes over with it, but it also shouldn't be having that. As I say, it shouldn't be costing money, like I keep on saying, is they should be having free shipping that should be coming around, especially with nowadays with how competitive. But the big thing about Hamilton Books and Book Outlet is that you have a limited supply or limited selection because they don't have a full gamut. It's where they end up having overflow of content or overflow of books, and that's where they ended up getting their books from it. Also, quick refresher back over with CGN. The big thing they didn't really have a good reward system that was also to give it a little bit more of a value. But I digress. Now we're going to go back over to the other person that ended up going with it with In-Stock Trades coming in at number 2. So they slid from number 1 from last year down to number 2 by just a half a point. In-Stock Trades ended up getting volumes 15 and 16 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then it took forever for it coming over with it. Forever for the orders to end up coming over. They do offer free shipping for $50 or over. But I digress. That's where the shipping speed that came over with it. I don't know what ended up happening because everything that we ended up ordering was something that was in stock at the time of ordering it. So that means the number 1 spot goes to Organic Price Books, where they ended up knocking it completely out. We ended up getting Ultimate X-Men Volume 2 from them, where they had it in here by a week. Ended up having free shipping of anything that's over $30. It also had a double box. And I believe this one actually had the peanuts in there, which isn't bad for me because I don't mind them as much. And they're biodegradable. But it also kept the book nice and safe. It's also important to say they also have a different structure that comes over with the way that they end up shipping it. They were just trying to work out their last bit of the peanuts out of the system. But they ended up having it quick, fast, and it showed up in perfect condition that we ended up looking for it. Also, I know that it's a channel affiliate, but I'm trying to be able to stand back, look at the results that comes over with it, look at as a new customer that comes over with it, and all these experiences is something that you can end up expecting to be able to come from your experience with them. If you had anything like that, let us know down in the comments down below. So a big thing that I also noticed in the process that goes over with it, as a collector, you want to make sure you get stuff in good shape. And when you end up picking up these things, you want to make sure it's in good shape. And that's where you got to end up trying to find the company that will end up supporting you onto that role. With the competitor or with the winner, I'm also going to get the spoils because I'm going to end up breaking it down real quick what they end up doing and what they end up having. First off, Organic Price Books has a nice rewards program that you can go over with it. Each dollar that you end up spending ends up going into points that you can end up using for later on discounts on stuff like that. So that gets you coming back, gets you going over or visiting. Also, they end up having little sales that's going to be over on it. And then you also have a $30 minimum required free shipping. It's a stellar way that goes with it. Plus, you also could end up helping the channel by using a fifth of Jack to save $2 off. If you have one book, if you have 4 or more books, use the code JACKIT to save 5% off your entire order instead. Codes are evergreen, so you can end up using it whenever you ended up wanting. But they keep on trying to come over with new packaging, trying to figure out ways to make it sure that the box that you open up doesn't have that, oh no, feeling that comes over with it. So these are other companies that can end up following suit and doing stuff like this because honestly, That's what OPB has done, and that's what I believe they continue will do. So that's the results from Shipping Wars of 2025. Ended up having it 4th place CGN. Over in 3rd place is going to be Target, Book Outlet, Amazon. And in 2nd place, Hamilton Books and In Stock Trades. And then we also have Organic Price Books taking the top spot this year in the 2025 Shipping Wars. What did you think of Shipping Wars? Let us know down in the comments down below. And if you're liking the content that we're putting out, like, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon to be notified whenever we come out with new content. Thank you for watching, and until next time, we'll see you later.